The movie begins in the frozen wilderness of Finnish Lapland 24 days before Christmas. High on Korvatunturi mountain, an American company, Sub-Zero Inkatsirs, runs a secret drilling operation. Mr. Green tells his boss Riley they found a thick layer of sawdust almost 400 meters underground. Sawdust should not be there, not that deep, not in that volume. Riley is thrilled because it is exactly what he hoped to find. He says people once used sawdust to preserve ice. So Korvatunturi is a gigantic natural freezer, built to keep something hidden in ice for centuries. And Riley believes he knows what. Two local boys, Pietari and Juuso, watch from behind crates. Juuso understands some English, so he listens as Riley gathers the crew. Riley says his childhood dream is coming true. Korvatunturi is a sacred tomb built by the people of Lapland, and inside is the real Santa Claus, not the warm, smiling Santa from greeting cards. Riley gives his men 24 days to open the mountain before Christmas and allows explosives if needed. The boys panic and escape through a hole they secretly cut in the fence. On the way back, Pietari is shaken. Juuso laughs, insisting Santa is not real and that the Santa who visits children is just a local man in costume. Pietari is not convinced. That night he digs through old Santa books and finds a darker legend. A horned figure, barefoot in the snow, carrying a rod. This Santa does not reward naughty children. He punishes them. For Pietari, Christmas stops feeling magical and starts feeling dangerous. 3 weeks later, Christmas Eve arrives. Early morning, Pietari's father Rauno builds a deep wolf trap near their home. Sharpened wooden stakes in a pit covered with branches and snow, with a pig's head hung as bait. Rauno throws snowballs at Pietari's window to wake him, but Pietari barely slept. His room is packed with Santa books. When he looks out, he freezes. Barefoot footprints mark the snow on the roof near his window. Pietari runs to Rauno in the slaughter room, nervous, eyes shut so he does not see the meat, and asks if his father walked on the roof. Rauno says no, tells him to stop imagining things, and says it is time for the reindeer roundup. Rauno and Pietari meet the herders, Juuso's father, Aimo, and Paiparinen. Rauno gives Pietari a loaded gun because the mountain explosions may have driven wolves closer. Pietari tells Juuso that Santa was outside his window last night. Juuso dismisses it as another scary story. The men wait for the herd, meat, money, survival through winter, but only 2 young reindeer appear. The herders race out on snowmobiles. Near the fence around Korvatunturi, they find the rest of the herd lying dead across the snow. Their business is destroyed overnight. The loss is about 85,000 euros, enough to push families toward bankruptcy. At first, the adults blame wolves coming through the broken fence. Then they notice the hole in the fence, the same one Pietari and Juuso made. Juuso warns Pietari to stay quiet. If the men learn they were on the mountain, both boys are in serious trouble. Rauno and the others blame the foreign drilling crew, thinking the workers caused it, maybe even on purpose after someone crossed into the restricted area. But Pietari sees what they miss. Under one reindeer, he finds a barefoot print in the snow, the same kind he saw by his window. Now he knows whatever came down from Korvatunturi is not a wolf. Furious, Rauno goes to confront the drilling site. He and the other men force through the gate and ride up with guns ready, but the camp is deserted. The office is empty, equipment abandoned, and it looks like Riley and his men fled in a hurry. Inside, Pietari spots a diagram showing the burial chamber within the mountain. The workers were not mining or researching. They opened the tomb. Outside, the men stand around the enormous hole blasted into Korvatunturi. Rauno throws a flare into the darkness, but the pit is so deep the light barely reaches. Whatever was sealed under the mountain was huge, and now it is no longer there. After returning from the mountain, Rauno tries to pretend Christmas can still happen, but the house is heavy. The reindeer are gone, the money is gone, and something strange has been dug out of Korvatunturi. Upstairs, Pietari staples shut the final window of his advent calendar, trying to stop Christmas, then straps on hockey pads for protection. Juuso doubts him, so Pietari shows him the old drawings. Not a cheerful man with presents, but a wild, horned figure, barefoot, with a cruel purpose. Then he shows Juuso the diagram he stole from the drilling office, and the legend clicks. Long ago, the people of Lapland feared this creature because he took naughty children away. They tricked him onto a frozen lake. The ice broke. He sank. When it froze solid again, the villagers dragged out the giant block of ice and buried it under a pile of stones. That pile became Korvatunturi. Juuso still calls it a scary story, but Pietari believes it is real. He wants to tell the adults they cut the hole in the fence, because maybe that mistake helped something escape. Chuso refuses. If their parents find out, they are in trouble. Downstairs, Rauno makes a meal of gingerbread and milk, but he is miserable. Pietari says the cookies taste like the ones his mother used to make, and the room goes quiet. Pietari's mother died years ago. Rauno turns away, hiding tears. Pietari asks if he has been a good boy, and if his father would be upset if he suddenly disappeared. Rauno cannot answer, so he sends him to bed and wishes him Merry Christmas. Pietari sits by the window, clutching keys so they will drop and wake him if he dozes off. Exhaustion wins. The keys fall. Pietari falls asleep. Meanwhile, back at Korvatunturi, the drilling site becomes a nightmare. Brian Green radios Riley. The operation must stop. Whatever they pulled out is not what Riley thought. It is alive, and the workers are terrified. Riley, away from the site, refuses to listen and still wants the cargo delivered. Screams echo through the camp. Green sees bare feet approaching in the darkness. By morning, Christmas has arrived, but Rauno's house feels cursed. The meat is burned, the fireplace will not work, and when Rauno lights it, soot blasts into his face. Pietari rushes down, armed. Rauno finds one of Pietari's traps hidden in the fireplace. To Rauno it looks childish, but Pietari says he was protecting the house from Santa coming down the chimney. Outside, the pig's head above the wolf trap is gone. Pietari screams for Rauno. In the trap, Rauno first sees white feathers, but deeper down, there is a human hand. Rauno yanks Pietari away and claims it was a bird, but Pietari knows he is lying. Piparinen arrives dressed as Santa to wish Pietari Merry Christmas. Rauno stops him and asks for help. Pietari watches them drag a shape in a sack into the meat shed. Inside, they lay an old man on the table, thin, pale, covered in a beard. In his jacket, an American passport. His name is Brian Green. Rauno and Piparinen panic. He must be one of the men from the mountain, and Rauno's trap is not legal. If anyone learns an American ended up in it, Rauno's life will collapse, so they argue about hiding what happened. Pietari sneaks back to the trap and finds a potato sack with no potatoes, only a creepy wooden doll. He returns to the shed and peers through the window. As they are about to deal with the old man, Green's hand moves. He starts breathing, sniffing the air like an animal, and turns his face toward the window, at Pietari. Pietari runs. Rauno chases him, terrified he will talk. Pietari reaches the road as the sheriff's car passes and jumps in. Rauno follows. The sheriff drives to Imo's house. Imo's barn was broken into. Hundreds of potato sacks were stolen, but the potatoes were left behind. The sheriff says almost every house has been hit. Stoves, heaters, even a hairdryer, anything that could create heat. Whoever did it smashed through walls. Imo blames the foreign drilling company, saying they are building some kind of machine. Rauno does not stay. He only wants Pietari away before questions start. But Pietari sees the pattern. Something from the mountain is collecting heat, and something else is collecting children. Before Rauno can leave Imo's house, Pietari ignores the adults and runs to Juso's room. He thinks Juso is asleep, but when he pulls back the blanket, Juso is gone. In his place is a creepy wooden doll, the same kind Pietari found in the wolf trap. Pietari runs to the sheriff, but the sheriff dismisses him, saying Juso is probably hiding or meeting a girl. After he leaves, Rauno asks Imo for help. The strange old man in the meat shed might be tied to the drilling company, and Imo can speak English. Piparinen watches the old man and eats a gingerbread cookie. The moment the old man smells it, he sniffs like an animal. Piparinen leans in, thinking he is trying to speak. Big mistake. The old man lunges. When Rauno, Imo, and Pietari return, Piparinen is injured and shaken, saying this thing is not acting human. Imo grabs his gun and storms into the shed, but inside the old man is crouched in the corner, naked, silent, staring. Imo speaks English. No answer. Rauno pokes him with a broomstick. No reaction. The men decide he is pretending to be helpless. Then they realize they could use him as leverage and force the drilling company to pay for the reindeer damage. While they make their plan, Pietari calls every family in the village and learns the same terrifying thing. None of the children are home. He tells Rauno everything and admits he and Juso cut the hole in the fence near Korvatunturi. He even brings a small branch and asks to be punished. Pietari explains, Santa took the children because they were naughty, and it started when the mountain was opened. Piparinen calls them back into the shed. The old man has chewed through part of the broomstick. When Pietari enters, the creature reacts instantly, standing and locking eyes on him. Pietari says the truth everyone avoids. This old man knows the children, has been watching the village, and came for him too. The adults stop laughing when the old man stares at Pietari like prey and moves toward him. Imo fires, and they overpower the creature and chain him up. For a moment, they eat Christmas cookies beside him, pretending nothing is wrong. Then a radio crackles from the jacket he wore. It is Riley. Riley still thinks his workers are alive, and the cargo is ready. A helicopter is coming, and he wants Santa prepared for pickup. Rauno gets an idea. If Riley wants the creature, he can pay. The herd cost around 85,000, and Rauno wants it back. They dress the old man in Piparinen's Santa outfit, lock him in a cage, and drive him to Korvatunturi. All the way, the old man watches Pietari. At the mountain, Rauno orders Pietari to stay in the truck. A helicopter lands and Riley steps out. The locals demand 85,000. Riley asks to see the captive. They roll out the cage, and Riley leans close, almost hypnotized by the eyes, then turns away. Riley reveals the truth. The thing in the cage is not Santa Claus. It is one of Santa's helper elves. Rauno demands the money anyway, but Riley tells them to lower their weapons, stay quiet, and smile, because the real danger is still out there. Then the mountain lights go out. The helicopter pilot screams. In the darkness, everyone realizes they may have walked straight into Santa's territory. The moment Riley says the real Santa will choose the naughtiest among them, the mood changes completely. Rauno, Imo, and Piparinen raise their guns and go back to back. In the dark, dozens of old, pale elves stand in the snow, watching silently. These are not cheerful helpers. They are ancient creatures guarding their master. One of them attacks Riley. The men fire, panic spreads, and Rauno notices the worst part. Pietari is gone. Rauno sprints to the big hangar, ensure his son ran inside. Imo and Piaparinen follow, slamming the doors before the elves can rush in. Inside, the real Santa stands trapped in a block of ice. Not a kind old man, but a giant, horned creature. Around the ice, the stolen heaters, stoves, and appliances are stacked and turned on. The elves have been melting the ice, building a warm nest so Santa can wake. Then they hear crying from potato sacks. The missing children are inside. Imo rips through the sacks, searching for Yuso. The reason becomes clear. The elves gathered children for Santa to punish. Piparinen shuts off heaters while Rauno holds the door as elves pound their way in. The ice cracks and chaos explodes, but Pietari stays focused. He sees dynamite, a hole in the roof, the helicopter outside, and how the elves obsess over children. He fires a shot to make the adults listen. Pietari says two things must happen at once. Get the children out and destroy Santa before the ice fully melts. As long as the children stay, the elves will never leave. And as long as Santa lives, the children will never be safe. Piparinen is the only one who can fly. He takes bundles of gingerbread cookies outside. The elves smell them and swarm like hungry animals. While they are distracted, Piparinen reaches the helicopter and starts it. Inside, Rauno and Imo pack the children into a cargo net. The helicopter lifts the net through the roof hole. Pietari climbs into the net too, because the elves must follow the children for the plan to work. The moment the elves sense the children leaving, they abandon the hangar and chase the helicopter through the forest. Now the mountain splits into two missions. In the air, Pietari guides Piaparinen by radio, using the children as bait to lead the elves away. Back in the hangar, Rauno and Imo drill into the ice and place dynamite. Before they leave, they cut off Santa's huge horns with a chainsaw, thinking they might be worth something. Piparinen heads for the reindeer pen. Pietari wants to trap the elves like a wild herd, but the gate is closed and the elves are already coming. Piparinen warns him, yet Pietari knows someone must open the gate from the ground. He jumps from the net, climbs down alone, opens the heavy gate, and turns on the electric fence, blocking the only escape. Then he stands as the creatures rush him. He radios Piparinen to tell Rauno he went out like a hero. At the same time, Rauno and Imo race away in their truck. When they are far enough, Rauno hits the detonator. The hangar erupts and Santa's frozen body is destroyed before he can break free. At the pen, Pietari closes his eyes as the elves reach him, but they stop, confused and lost. Their master is gone, and without Santa they have no purpose. Pietari knows it worked. The children are safe, Santa is gone, and the elves are trapped. Piparinen laughs in relief from the helicopter and says the monster is finished for the first time ever. Pietari tells him to take the children home, because they should be back in their beds. By morning, Rauno, Imo, Piparinen, and Yuso arrive. They find Pietari standing proudly beside a captured army. He counted them. There are 198. Pietari has one last idea. control them, clean them, train them, and sell them as real Santas. Rauno does the math. If one Santa is worth 85,000, then 198 could make the village unbelievably rich. He hugs Pietari, finally seeing him as brave and clever. Rauno looks at Pietari not as a scared little boy anymore, but as someone worth trusting. Rauno and the villagers wash the captured elves and train them to behave around children. Slowly, they learn to hold babies gently and hand out presents. Imo keeps them disciplined, and Piperinen handles the flying side of the business. What began as disaster becomes their biggest opportunity. Months later, by the next Christmas season, they are packed into shipping crates and sent around the world as real Santas. And that is how the terrifying creatures from Korvatunturi become the world's rarest Christmas export.